Travelling eastwards from Marseilles along a road known as the Golden Corniche, our first glimpse of the French Riviera is of the Estoril. This part of the coast is unique in its geological formation. The rocks of volcanic origin are of red porphyry and make a vivid contrast with the azure sky for which the entire district is renowned. Towering nearly 1,300 feet above the sea stands the mighty Cap Roux, the highest point on the coast and an impressive gateway to the French Riviera. All along the Estoril coast there are little bays and inlets called calanques, where the water varies in color from the deepest blue to the brightest green. These colors are due to the remarkable transparency and clearness of the sea, which makes it equally popular with both fishermen and swimmers. This private villa, which was formerly the summer home of perhaps a wealthy Parisian or foreign tourist, is now deserted. Its once beautiful gardens sadly neglected and overgrown with weeds. But inflation and the rise in the cost of living is not the sole cause, for many of these former luxury homes were destroyed by shell fire during the Allied invasion of 1945. And where one finds a building in good repair, it's more often now a hotel or cafe. As we travel along the Estoril coast, we get our first view of Cannes, basking in the sunshine beneath the snow-capped peaks of the maritime Alps. Cannes, like so many towns of the Azure coast, has a Roman past, though today no ruins remain. Until the year 1834, it was merely a fishing village built on a little hill called the Mont Chevalier. During the 12th century, it was under the jurisdiction of the abbots of Lerins, and the old tower on the hill, which was part of their monastery, still stands today. Cannes owes its modern existence to a man who, while on his way to Italy, was unavoidably delayed here owing to an outbreak of cholera. The man was Lord Broom. He was so struck by the beauty of the place that he built a castle here, and from that time the popularity of Cannes was assured. Cannes today is the luxury tourist center of the Azure coast. Its main street, La Rue d'Antibes, is lined with elegant and fashionable shops. Its promenade, the famous Croisette, with palatial and expensive hotels. The beach at Cannes is of natural sand, a fact which makes it particularly popular with the English. But whilst the big hotels and expensive restaurants for which the town is renowned depend largely on the foreigner for their patronage, the beach is for everyone, tourist and resident alike. Owing to the fact that the Mediterranean is almost completely surrounded by land, it is practically non-tidal and very warm for bathing. Yes, the kids just love the water, though some do need a little persuasion. Cannes Beach is well known for its bathing beauties, and for their attractive, if rather daring little swimsuits. Is this what the doctor ordered when he prescribed a month's rest in southern sunshine? And now we take our last look at Cannes' picturesque little harbor, with its motorboats and yachts, and pass on to Nice, the largest city of the Azure coast. Nice, with a population of nearly 250,000 people, is a city of contrasts. Firstly, as the principal port for the island of Corsica, it does a busy trade in cork and olive oil. The main street of Nice, called the Avenue de la Victoire, with its traffic lights, trolley cars, elegant shops, and open-air bars, makes a strange contrast with the old parts of the city, where the buildings are so high and the streets so narrow that the sun can seldom penetrate fully. While Nice is now to a large extent residential, it also caters for the visitor. The municipal casino, with its attractively laid-out gardens, is open throughout the year, for Nice is very popular as a winter resort. This is the famous Promenade des Anglais, with its palm trees, flowers, and gardens. Along this promenade are the big hotels and the summer casino. Nice, like all Azure Coast resorts, has a beach, though here it's all pebbles. Boy, or should I say girls, are those pebbles hard, or are they? Now then, beautiful, just look at the camera and smile. Oh, come. This is better. Action at last. Yes, some of these girls can even swim. Eastward from Nice, there are many colorful villages and fishing ports. One of these is called Villefranche-sur-Mer, well known by the Americans, for units of their fleet frequently drop anchor in the bay, and it is sometimes said that it's the ambition of every girl of Villefranche to marry an American sailor. At any rate, until the Yanks leave, the bars and little shops do a particularly lively trade. The main industry of the village, however, is fishing, for the sardine and lobster boats come in here from Sardinia, and it is not an uncommon sight to see a fisherman repairing his nets on the steps of one of the old attractive streets of this port. From Nice to Monte Carlo, there are 3 roads. This one, the Moyenne Corniche, as its name may indicate, is the middle route, running at an average height of 800 feet above the sea. Following this road, we reach the remarkable old village of Aix, perched high up on the rocks over 1,000 feet above the blue Mediterranean. The site of this village dates back over 2,000 years, and at one time it was used as a fortress. It is said that it was only once captured in all its history, and then, by treachery, its position was so unassailable. Today it is inhabited principally by people who rely on the visitor for their livelihood, selling refreshments, souvenirs, and picture postcards. One of the main attractions of Aix is its remarkable peace and quiet, for it seems quite unaffected by the hustle and bustle which are characteristic of so many places on the coast. Not far from here is the village of Broom, which dates from about the 10th century. Built on the cliffside, legend relates that at one time the village was slipping into the sea, but was saved by a broom tree growing out of the rock itself. To commemorate its salvation, Broom has a fete every year, in which the yellow broom naturally plays a predominant part. Parents from miles around bring their children dressed in fancy costumes to compete for prizes in this picturesque and colorful celebration. And so to Monte Carlo, with its honeycomb of hotels, probably the most famous of all the towns of the Azure Coast. Today, Monte Carlo, which is mainly a winter resort, enjoys only a fraction of its former gaiety and luxury, due largely to the slow economic recovery of Europe and the restraint on tourist travel facilities. In spite of this, the town is well cared for and escaped the war untouched. Monte Carlo is in the Principality of Monaco, a unique and independent state ruled over by Prince Louis Grimaldi and having a population of approximately 20,000 people. The prince lives in an impressive-looking palace and possesses his own personal guard, which always causes much interest to the visitor. Amongst the many sights of this town is this curious house which clearly exhibits in its design a strong oriental influence. But the most famous building in Monte Carlo is undoubtedly the casino, which overlooks Monaco's harbor. Built in 1878 by Charles Garnier, it is the casino of all casinos and has witnessed the making and loss of several fortunes. No visit to Monaco is complete without a glimpse of the exotic gardens. Built in terraces against the sun-baked rocks, some of the rarest and most interesting subtropical plants are cultivated here. And in this exotic atmosphere, we leave this beautiful part of the world, rightly called the the azure coast of southern France.